Hi, everybody. This is Sam again. Samuel Durbridge. Welcome back to my channel for those that have chosen to come back and watch more or that are new. Welcome. So I wanted to let you know that this channel that I do is mostly for my insights and thoughts and feelings. It helps me with my personal way of expressing or letting my feelings and emotions and awarenesses of things to be told. And it's also, I'm a minister and I'm there for anybody that would like me to officiate a wedding or to be there for them, as long as I'm able to or have the means to do so. And I feel that I feel comfortable doing based on my needs of personal health and personal focus of life and personal religious or spiritual values that I follow that are part of my personal choice to be my own minister of not really any church, just of the universe connection of whatever really is. And that is my connection. So I'm about not really putting boundaries or barriers, but at the same time, I put my own form of what I'm comfortable with, that I feel safe doing, or that I feel is appropriate for me to be okay with choosing. And so I'm about the heart, I'm about doing the right thing that I feel is the next right thing, and combinations of many different things that I had to learn personally on my own through my own therapeutic awareness and my own choice of peace, joy, love, focus, which is connected to healing arts and healing ways of how we heal through frequencies and connections of heart. So I've talked to many doctors and doctorates and PhDs, and many have confirmed with me of things they at first didn't know, never thought, and at first they doubted. Some made fun, and then later they noticed I was telling the truth. Some came back as other people, pretending that they were someone else, and they don't think I noticed, but some of them I kind of did. And some of them I wonder if they are someone that was around in my life before, hiding and pretending to be someone they're really not, or connected to people that are similar to others that are around me. We seem to be connected to certain groups and certain social structures, and it seems to keep repeating in our lifetime and any other lifetime we have. And it's almost like something is controlling it or orchestrating it, and we're talking about multiple somethings, not just one society of controllers, but many different aspects. You got the darkness, the light, and then you got the balance, and then you got just the show of that's within all of those connected systems and other timelines and beyond. And so there's a lot of changes, a lot of spiritual experiences and awarenesses that it's all connected. We all matter in the heart, and we all are of the light. So just different fractals of the light, different frequencies, different chakra levels, different energy levels. And whatever our vibe is, we become that vibe and become more or less based on our heart and our focus of what we expect. We get what we expect, but we can create a better expectation by thinking more of being in the moment and following our heart. Heals us and helps us through our self-worth and authentic behavior to be more real rather than a facade. And by being less of a facade, we become more of the light and more of a balance that heals all forms. And the light loves us more because we promote that idea and shines even brighter due to that. So let's go into something that I wanted to bring up that I thought was pretty impressive. So March 22nd is supposedly something that I heard Charlie Freak has said, and others have mentioned that have read ancient documents. And again, I'm about awareness of what others are talking about that say they've read documents from ancient knowledge that isn't told to us. And if that is in fact correct in some way, why wouldn't we try to be aware of it? I don't believe or disbelieve anything. I have an awareness of everything because everything is connected and one. And so when I look at that, I'm like, okay, one of the most powerful words is now, but it's also one. And it's like, when you say now, what does that say? Well, it also says that you won. When you're in the now, you won. But it's more than just now and one. It also has own. When you own the now, and when you own what you won, you finally have ownership of the oneness. And when you look at the one that you won, it also sounds like the number one. And I've said this and brought this up many times, but it's in a lot of shows and a lot of information, and it explains it. So one, W-O-N-E, is also the number one. Neo. Neo is there. An eon, meaning eons and eons, forever and ever. And so now one own, and then one eon neo is we are all the one, we are all eon, we are all forever. We are all in the now, and we own the now, and we won, and we've already won. So that's when others say that God is one, that's what they mean by that. And it means many different meanings, and they're all supposed to be positive and ongoing, and to help us know that we are already okay. As long as we notice that in the now moment, in every moment that we're in, feeling peace or finding peace within that moment, finding something around us in that moment that feels amazing and feels graceful, we connect to the divine, which is what grace means, divine intervention. We connect with the divine, but we are the divine connection. I am that I am. You take the I out of it, you take the am, and you just say that. So what is that? Well, I am, take ego, but ego is spirit, so it doesn't matter. We are always spirit, and spirit is always us. And so when we say I, we're saying spirit, am, wealthy, healthy, happy, abundant, full abundance. Spirit, am. That's all you're saying. So when you say I, you're just saying spirit, which is everything within you and part of you, whatever that is. Your spirit is connected to many spirit connections, and the spirit is you, and you are that spirit. And so that's the cool part about it. So March 22nd is said to be the actual New Year, possibly. And the 12th of February was supposed to be the Chinese New Year, from what I've heard. So it seems like it keeps jumping around, but it has a similar pattern. And I'm looking at this going, okay, there's a similar pattern connection where there's a 2, and there's either a 2 and a 2, or a 2 and a 1. And so, or a 1 and a 2. And so this is where it gets interesting. So when I saw this pattern, now that I'm thinking about it and looking at what I just wrote on this, I said March 22nd, April 21st. It is interesting how the pattern occurred. And the pattern was shown to me in numbers and other things on games, and I was seeing this pattern. And now I figured out what this pattern is. So from February 12th to March 22nd, and then from March 22nd to April 21st, there is a pattern. Now, why is there a pattern there? Well, it's because you got the 12, and then you got the 21, and the 3 and the 3 makes 6, which is the heart, and I was just like, okay, that makes it interesting. But then you add the 22 and you make 10, which is the oneness. Because 10, you do 1 plus 0 is 1. And 1 is now 1 own. So see the synchronicities that we just had happen just now, me just bringing it up. There's synchronicities everywhere. And everybody's noticing it in some way or another. And if you haven't noticed it yet, you're going to start noticing it. It's everywhere. You're going to be drawn to me, I'm going to be drawn to you if that's what is required to see it or to know it, if we're meant to connect with each other. It's really powerful stuff. So for this video, I wanted to bring up that let's just say March 22nd could be, not saying it is, not saying it isn't. It's just something to be aware of because it's said by Charlie Freak and others who say they've read ancient texts and had access to it and let others know about it, connected to Cosmic records and other records and ancient knowledge and other Tibetan old ancient scripts of healing and military studies and multiple stuff. Well, the calendars, there's multiple different calendars. And the Mayan calendar, let's put it this way. Let's say the Mayans knew the calendar was a certain way, and everybody within the connections to the ancient prophecies that they knew as well were all in agreement, and somehow the calendars got moved around at that time after whatever happened with them and others. And let's just be aware that March 22nd could be the first day of January or the first beginning of the year. Whether it's called January or not, I don't know. But let's just say by that connection, it's the first day of January would be March 22nd instead of March 22nd, because our calendars have changed due to leap years, wars, and many different things throughout history that altered and confused, and everybody changed it. So if March 22nd is the first of the year, the actual new year, then that means the 21st of March would be New Year's Eve. And so that would be the 31st of December. Well, that would be interesting. So March 22nd is the first. Okay, well then April 21st would be the 31st of January. Here's what's interesting. According to the Alien Agenda 2017 to 2021, which is fake alien agenda or fake HCT agenda, is what I call it, humanoid extraterrestrial, or a fake invasion of some kind, or a returning of paladiens, which could occur. But let's say that that's the case. Well, that would make a lot of sense. And let's just say that now that's 2021. But it also would be connected to 2012. So I'm going to go into two different scenarios here. So let's go with the 2021. Let's just say now it's 2021 at that time. Well, if that is the case, then what happens is, according to Alien Agenda and Project Planet Blue Book and information that I woke up to in 2015 and got drawn to and was aware of, where it was all over YouTube at the time, but you can't find it much anymore, but you could at that time, whatever timeline or whatever I was, and now I'm where I am now. At that time, it talked about that there was information that was redacted, and all it said was Alien Agenda. That's what it said. And it was 2017, and I want to say it was to 2021, but I've also heard 2022. But I remember distinctly to me that it said 2021 possibly. But either way, it fits with either this year or next year. So if it was 2022, then it would be next year. If it was 2021, it would be this year. Now, January of 2021 in the traditional sense seemed to have already passed, right? But if this is actually the New Year connection, then this is when they would do that Palladian returning in galactics and others coming back, which would connect with Christ's prophecies and a whole bunch of prophecies connecting for between this time frame. But it could also happen earlier, based on the shift and us shifting earlier, but then everybody will just they'll all start landing in that new realm and showing up more in the January time frame, like it said in the agenda that they were planning to do. Now, here's the question I have, and this kind of is interesting because I've had dreams that it could be 2022 based on dreams that I've had, but it also may not be. So it's a little bit confusing. So I'll just go into it, and maybe a lot for a lot of you that aren't aware of this stuff. So if you're not, you can move on, go to someone else. But I'm just letting this information known for those that have woken up to this and wonder about this, to give a little bit more context to what's going on. So the Great Awakening is an awakening of knowledge and awareness and freedoms. And then the other is being aware of what really is out there, and the return of the old beings that were considered old gods or old connected family, star family, whatever, is coming back. Either we shift into their realm and we can see them more, or we shift and then they show up because we can now see them because they've always been here, and now we see them all around us because they've already been here beside us, almost like spirits and family, but more than that, other dimensional beings or density level beings. Those are two different things, but almost similar. But I'm not going to go there right now. So March 22nd would be the first, and that would be the 1st of January, and then it goes to the 31st, so that would be April 21st, and maybe I got the dates kind of not done correctly, but I think I did. That would make a lot of sense. That would be, 31 days right there. So the 22nd would be the first day, and then the 31st would be April 21st. So from March 22nd to April 21st of supposedly 2021, but now it is going to be January 1st to January 31st, or whatever that first month really was called. And so I'm just going into that because I don't know. I haven't read all the stuff, but I've kind of skimmed and connect with all that, and I just try to get to the point of something that matters rather than learning all this stuff. But I do learn when I feel I have time to. Really, it's about the heart and manifesting desired outcomes for me, because that's where my peace is, and that's what I can handle. And I'm okay with handling other things to a degree, but it has to be something that matters to me. So in an emotional sense and a spiritual and physical sense. And so March 22nd to April 21st would be the time frame that an alien connected agenda could happen. So that means beings could come and show up. There might be some kind of fake alien invasion, or Antichrist show up for the dark realm or Earth that would fall away. And so, or new return of the good Christ and other beings for Utopia Earth. So it could be one or the other, with some people call the split. But I think the split already occurred and it's wrapping around, and there will be two portals connecting. So even though it feels like a split, this is a rerun, and really we're in the future 2021 or further, to where that is the full golden age. So we're going into the Bronze Age within this show, but we're really already achieved the golden age. So we will, once we get into the Bronze Age, it will be really easy, and everything will make sense, and we'll feel like we're already the golden age, and we'll finally know what's really going on, and we'll learn, and we'll be able to make what has already been made for the future by doing it now, seeing how it's been made. But it will be a lot easier, and it will be amazing. We'll all be part of it, and then once we're in the golden age, we'll be able to just enjoy more and do more of what we decide at that time. So, and what we know we should be doing for future becoming. So, March 22nd to April 21st. So there you go. Now, that would be January 1st to January 31st of 2021. Now, if it is 2022 that they're supposed to come, which some think that's the time, and some say 2030, that's a whole different thing. But 2022 would be what I would think would be the latest of it. But it seems like it's going to happen sooner, but they might delay so that we can get used for a year before they come, because we'll already be ascended forms, and we'll finally know what's going on and get used to the conscious level of knowledge of how to handle our one conscious way of thinking and connecting now. And we're already starting to connect to that. I'm listening to 852 Hertz, which helps connect with that connection, which is amazing, that brings soul family to you. And I've seen a lot of soul family or others coming as though they are being drawn to me, and it's healing everybody. And it helps you heal your relationships in your life completely. It's really cool. And so let's go into, because you got them helping you rather than you feeling alone. So it's a good frequency to listen to bring extra help and protection, so that if there's enemies, it gets rid of those toxic attitudes of others that misinterpret you or don't really know you. And it heals you, and it has spirits and guardian spirits and angels protecting you and stopping the false stories about you and things that others may try to do. And it helps kind of heal that. And it also brings DNA miracles and protection and healing for any damage or tricks that may try to have been done there. But really what's happening right now is we're in a shift either way, and this is helping me get through it, and it's actually making it open more, I've noticed. I'm like, this is awesome, this is what I wanted, so I'm doing what I feel I should. If I change to something else because I feel I should, then I will, but only if I notice that it will help. And if it doesn't, I go back to this, because I have felt comfort with this. So this is really powerful. So one of the things I want to bring up on this is the Paladiens are different forms, and many of them say they're Paladiens and they're connected to Greys or whatever when they're really not. Some of them are connected to Syrian and different complete connections, and it's just the different connections of connections, and then they're going to heal all the bad connections anyway, is what the real Paladiens are supposed to do. Some say a blue liquid will be given to us so we don't have to drink or eat much anymore. We'll just drink that blue liquid for a lifetime. I don't really like that idea, because it means that you won't ascend necessarily, but you can when you're ready to ascend, but you'll just drink liquid for a lifetime, but you will get your soulmate and blessings there, and you'll just have a life where you can do whatever you want, and once the blue liquid is gone, then your form dies, and then you reincarnate into the other form that you already have, based on if you have any children connection that you're meant to try to ascend even further, based on however that works. But I don't know. That's a weird timeline connection from what I got drawn to it. Some see it more positive than that, more amazing, which it should be. And so I focus on the more raising your vibration, becoming more. But whatever is acceptably good that heals everyone and helps, which I'm already proven and known does work by manifesting destiny and healing, that's what I focus on, and that's what I prefer. So what is awesome about this connection is that means that we could have visitors or see beings finally, and maybe see the dome or whatever it is that's in our reality, and see past it to see what the real truth is in the sky and beyond, and what we're really, and all the curtains and the fluff fake controls will dissolve, and then we'll see these beings. Now, it could be that it will be a fake connection for those in a dark realm. If it is that way, that's what one of the agendas could be, but it may not be. It's hard to know what this is, but I would say the March would be the time that this would happen, and it may be earlier. It may be on March 11th or March 1st, as early as that. It might even be between now and March 1st, but it seems like it would be when the portals open, which others say that it's already open. It seems like if we're following what they know of the future, regardless who put this in there and know what's coming, because they have different tech to know or connections to know, good or bad, whatever. It's interesting because it makes a lot of sense that if it is going to happen there, that would be the time that they would do it in, because it matches with what the information I woke up to in 2015 to, and what it said in there that got me to wonder. And then now I'm being aware of it now, and it's getting more sense, because first they would have to do something that would cause us all to fear and be concerned or try to be controlled, where people have to choose a big choice, and then they want to control population. Some will choose to follow it and some won't. And then the returning of beings that connect with Supernatural show and others. This would be the time. This is when we would finally see what's really going on in the world, and we would know what beings are. They would try to do different agendas to throw at us, to control us and make us fear or be controlled in there, or to stay in 3D rather than to rise up into higher realms. And so this is what's interesting, because if this is the case, then yes, it would be for both the good and the bad realms. It would be two different scenarios. Maybe both would have it, but the good would stop the bad from doing its trickeries. But it would be 2021 would be connected to March 22nd to April 21st, since we already passed January of 2021 in the traditional sense of what we're told is 2021. So that means if March 22nd is the 1st of January, according to ancient calendars and connections of lore, possibly, it seems pretty entertaining to think that that is when the agendas would start coming in. By the end of that month, which would be April 21st, would connect with, and it's really interesting that it would fit this way because of certain correlations and connections to those dates and what those dates are. It would mean that that is when the beings would be seen more. We would see more CTV, ETV vehicles in the sky, hover or TAC-1 vehicles that vacate vectored levitation, that are TAC-1, which is celestial TAC-1 vehicles that do speed of light and more, that can travel, time travel in dimensions and beyond, and past, present, future, and multiple densities realms, possibly. So they can take you from 3D realm to maybe a higher D realm, and then change you so you can adapt or be able to handle that frequency by changing your form to be translated or transfigured for a time, and then translated for those that are staying, that are able to or want to, because there's nothing to go back to, or they've gone through so many loops that controls that they need to just get all the things that are keeping them from those controls taken out of you, like metal and other things, and re-changing and healing you like you were supposed to. And so this is what's great about this, because if this is the case, then it fits. It all fits. So it would be, this year is more preferred because it makes more sense, but next year would be the connection, and we could say that it would be either January 2022 or March, whatever the equivalent 22nd is for the first day of January of the actual calendar that Charlie Freak or others say is the real New Year connection, as well as the Chinese New Year before. So really, all these changes all started between February 12th. Everybody's noticed it. Between February 12th, a lot of people have been feeling a lot of changes of peace more to now and going on. So it's going to be between now, February 12th, all the way to April 21st. That's what I'm pretty much guessing now, because it makes a lot of sense, because, I don't know, it fits. And so I don't know how many days that would be, but it really would fit the paradigm shifting and connections to revealing the truth of other beings and other coming among us. And then we would really know by then what realm we're in and where we're going. Because between now and the 22nd, there's supposed to possibly be the 12-12-12 or the 12-21-12. 12-21-12 would be March 11th. The 12-12-12 would be March 1st. Okay? So that's the connections. That's what I'm seeing based on if March 22nd would be the first. So of the next year. So we're looking, and that would be if it was 2012, but if not, it would be 12/12/2020 for what we just went through. So would be March 1st, and then if we're still in 2020, if next year is going to be 2022, it'd be 2021 because of the change of the calendar awareness. Or it would be 2013 turned to it gets confusing from there, but basically next year would be 2022, but if it's not 2022, it wouldn't turn into 2022, which would be the equivalent of basically still 2021 until it switches. So it gets kind of interesting. So right now, according to some, we're already supposed to be in 2013, but if the calendars were off, 2013 wouldn't be until March 22nd. So we're still in the shift time frame, which would make a lot of sense and that's why we haven't fully shifted, because it had to go through a slow progression. And if this is really the connection, and I don't know, but it really feels like it could be. And it fits with biblical teachings and connections to the 40-day, 40-night connections of healing, which would be, I think I brought it up in my last video, but I'll bring it up here now, which would be the connection for me would be to March 27th or so, or I would say if we're going back, I would say it would be the end of January, the last week in January that we just had, going all the way to March 1st or March 11th. And that would be 40 days, 40 nights. It would fit. And from what I noticed from blessings that occurred in my life, but that's just me noticing. Maybe you noticed something where it felt horrible things happened, but then something can't, but you felt peace still. For some reason, you still feel peace, like something was going to correct itself, even though a bad thing occurred, getting rid of something you didn't want anyway, that you thought was working, and then it wasn't, and then it confirmed concerns you had. And then a week later, before the end of the month of January, it went into peace mode to where you got things you needed, and then now you're feeling a huge amount of peace and miracles to show up. You found things that you lost and all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to do another video, but bless you all. Your desires are now provided from the heart.